welcome to Make Better Drinks. I'm David, and today we're making mojitos. Now the mojito is a classic recipe, but there are a lot of different ways to make the cocktail. So today we're gonna make our favorite mojito recipes, then we're gonna taste them, talk about the differences so you can figure out which mojito recipe you wanna use for your next drink. So, let's make some drinks. Wait, what? Dave? Man, where did he go?
Hey man, how's it going? It's catching some sun out here. It's hot.
What are you doing? We're supposed to be making a mojito video.
You can go ahead and let me know when you're done with those. I'll take two.
All right, let's make some mojitos. Now I'm gonna do two different versions of this drink, one with cubed ice and another one with pebble ice.
Hi, I bet you're wondering what pebbled ice is. Well, let me tell you. Pebbled ice is like crushed ice, except it is completely uniform. Usually, pebbled ice is made up of 1 centimeter cubes and can be made in a special ice cube tray, like this one. Pebbled ice and crushed ice can be used interchangeably, but, among other things, pebbled ice looks awesome.
So let's get started. They start the same way, just adding some mint to each of these shaking tins. I'm gonna add maybe 6 or 8 mint leaves to each one of these, and this is just really gonna add a really nice mint flavor to this cocktail. It's gonna be really good. So next up, I'm gonna add the sweetener, and for this, I'm gonna use just a basic simple syrup. For the cubed ice version, I'm gonna add 3/4 of an ounce. And you know, if you're making this at home, you can use demerara syrup or cane syrup, cane sugar syrup, but simple syrup is just an easy way to go. So for the other version, I'm going to use just a 1/2 ounce here, pour that in, but I'm also going to add a sugar cube, and that's going to add some interesting texture to that version of the cocktail. Next, I'm going to add my lime juice. So here, I'm going to do, I'm going to quarter this lime. And then I'm going to add each of these lime quarters to the pebble ice version of this cocktail. And next, I'm going to use my muddler to muddle the contents of each of these. So when you're muddling with mint, you really don't want to twist the muddler. You just want to press down to try to extract some of the nice oils that are in those mint leaves. If you twist the muddler, you're going to end up shredding the mint leaves, which is really not what you want. Now with this one, with the lime wedges in it, you kind of got to press down a little bit harder. You want to try to get the lime juice out, get the oils out of the mint leaves without shredding anything too badly. All right, that seems pretty good. Next, I'm going to add 1 ounce of lime juice to the cubed ice version of this cocktail, and for that, I'm going to use my citrus press. Then finally, I'm going to add the rum. So here I'm using Plantation 3-Star, which is probably my favorite rum to use in a mojito. It's just a really lovely rum to have in this kind of a drink. It's a little bit more complex and interesting than sort of a standard light rum. And I'm just adding 2 ounces to each of these cocktails. So next, I'm just going to add my ice, and then I'll give each of these a shake. So I'll just add a few ice cubes to the Collins glass that I'm going to use for the cubed ice version. And then I'm going to grab my strainer. And I'll also grab a fine strainer here, just because we're quite likely to have some shreds of mint and things like that in here that we don't want in the drink. So I'm going to strain this out into the glass. Then for the next drink, I'm going to just dump this one entirely into the glass. We actually want all of the mint leaves and the lime and everything else in this cocktail for just kind of the aesthetic appeal of it. So then I'm just going to top the cubed ice version with a little bit of soda water. Maybe 1 ounce or 2 just to kind of reach the top of the glass. And for the pebble ice or the crushed ice version, I'm just going to top this up with some of this pebble ice. Then finally, I'm going to garnish these cocktails, each with a little bit of mint. So I like to gather up the mint and just give it a little bit of a slap before putting it in the glass, and that really just kind of helps release some of those nice aromas so that when you smell the cocktail when you're first tasting it, you'll get this really nice big burst of mint on the nose. And there you have it, a couple of mojitos, one made with cubed ice and the other made with pebble ice.
Hey man, what's good?
Man, just taste the drinks.
Right on.
All right, so we got mojitos. We're gonna start out with the cubed ice version.
Yeah, that's very good. It has a nice balance to it. There's a lot of citrus in it, a nice acidity to it. We take these off. It's has a little bit of mint underlying, but the main player in that is the citrus, I think.
Yeah, and I also noticed a little bit of the soda water adds some effervescence that makes it a little bit bubbly, which is really nice. But yeah, you get all those nice flavors of the mint and the lime. Really kind of comes together in that one.
Yeah, it's very three-dimensional. You get the sugariness, you get the bitterness toward the end of it, you get the effervescence, so a little bit of tingly in the mouth, you get the kind of lime acidity. It's a lot going on, but it's all very smooth and mellow and perfect summertime drink.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you want to try the next one?
Sure.
Yeah, so this is the one that uses pebble ice as well as a sugar cube.
Yeah, they taste very similar, although I will say the mint is definitely way more forward in this one than with that one. This one was primarily citrus. This one is a little bit more mint, or it's a lot more noticeable, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's probably because the mint and actually also the lime chunks are left in the drinks, so that it's going to contribute more to the flavor. Whereas with this one, we're filtering out the mint after we shake it, so
right.
So you get a little bit less of that. But yeah, and I also just noticed there's a little bit more of like a grainy texture to this one that I think comes from the fact that the sugar cube is just not going to fully dissolve in the drink. So texturally, there is a little bit of a difference as well.
Toward the end of the drink, I imagine it'll be kind of hard to suck some of the liquid up because your straw is going to get clogged with all kinds of detritus.
Yeah, I mean, that's partially why. So you might notice I use different straws here. So for this one, I'm using a kind of a wider glass straw. And for this one, I'm using a little bit more of a narrow metal straw. The wider glass straw is nice for drinks where you have some small bits of ice or mint or lime where it won't get clogged as easy as kind of one of these more narrow straws.
Right, so this will help prevent that from happening.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Now, how about the aesthetics? So like taste-wise, I do think these are fairly similar. Obviously, this one has a bubblier texture, and this one, maybe you get a little bit more of the citrus in the mint. But what about the sort of how it looks to you?
I really like this. This looks like, you know, one of those fancy bottles of olive oil or vinegar where you have like some stuff like in the bottom. It looks very rustic, very homemade, very, you know, it's very appealing. This also looks appealing in a different kind of way. You have that kind of like foggy kind of, it looks like it's going to be a very flavorful, rich drink. For my money though, this one screams mojito. Whereas this one just kind of shouts mojito.
Yeah, and I would agree with you there. And I think these drinks are just sort of, they follow different paths. So this one here, you have a more modern take on a mojito where it's a bit more sleek and clear throughout, in addition to the garnish. Whereas here you have sort of your lime husks and your mint. Everything's all in the glass. It just has this more sort of tropical feel. It's also a little bit less consistent because you're using a lime instead of measuring an ounce of lime juice, and then you're also using a sugar cube, so the drink is going to evolve a little bit in the glass. But I do think overall, it just presents this more kind of tropical beach vibe to it that really kind of I agree. It kind of screams mojito, whereas the other one is really nice and probably more consistent, but I don't think it's has the same appeal.
So yeah, all this talk about mojitos has made me a little sleepy. So I gotta get back to the island. I'll catch you later.
So there you have it. Those are our favorite mojito recipes, and whether you prefer a more modern version or a more rustic version, hopefully that just helps you decide what kind of mojito you want to make the next time you're on island time. So thanks for watching, and let us know in the comments what your favorite mojito recipe is. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.